My name is Will Bouma. I'm the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Indigenous Affairs and First Nations Economic Reconciliation. We have with us Minister Greg Rickford, and I am also Parliamentary Assistant to the Premier and the Minister of Intergovernmental Affairs, Premier Doug Ford, and Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Northern Economic Development and Growth. It's a pleasure to be here with you all and to be part of this historic announcement alongside Premier Ford, Minister Rickford, Chief Cornelius Wabasse, Deputy Chief Selina Wabasse, Knowledge Keeper Wabasse, and members of Webequie First Nations Council. Without further ado, I would like to invite Knowledge Keeper Wabasse of Webequie First Nation to provide an opening blessing.
Hello. So today is going to be a historic day. We've been working on a lot of the things, the footworks of the projects and what's happening, because we all have to understand to where it's going, and foremost to have that trust with the government and the agreements we have and things that will come to fruition, because we have a ability to consult foremost, because we want to practice self-autonomy. We want to have the say to what's going to happen, and foremost, and that's the foundation of having a say, and to have that really hear the people in the grassroots level, because a lot of times we're not heard, and this is the moment that we are moving forward to have a better for everyone as a whole, because we need to work together to make things happen and to make the possibility to grow as an economic society, because we all need to benefit all sectors and to understand ourselves and foremost. So that's all I wanted to say. I really appreciate all the people that really worked hard to make this towards understanding, to create opportunities for future generations to come. And the foundation again is building that trust again, and to have a strong and to have a voice to really be heard in the level, because we all need to have a better communities, and also to be conscientious about the environmental impacts, and to work towards prosperity for everyone. So that's all I'm going to say as a knowledge keeper, because it needs to be heard in all levels. Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Knowledge Keeper, and I appreciate you starting us off in that good way. Thank you very much. Next up, I'd like to introduce Chief Cornelius Wabasse, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you to my Knowledge Keeper for the words of wisdom as we start up with this event. My name is, I'm the Chief of Webequie First Nation, and I'm here today to sign an agreement with Ontario that will, establish an ongoing relationship with Ontario, and also to better understand, how we should be working together to make things happen for our communities. And we're looking forward, to this day, and also moving on forward to, making this happen for our community, and also, working with other First Nations and industry as well too. So we are very, humble, and we look forward to, working together and moving on with what we have, and making sure that our communities will prosper in the near future, and that we address some of the issues that we have at our community level, including the well-being, and also being able to have opportunities and economic development for our First Nations. And it's it's a lot of hard work up ahead for us, but I know that with our hard work we can move forward and make things happen that'll be for the benefit of our community. And for Webequie First Nation, it's an opportunity for us, and we like to make that opportunity flourish into something that will be recognized in our community. And we look forward to a better relationship, an ongoing relationship, and also to be honest and trustful, and also to have a good moving forward relationship as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And next up, we have Minister Greg Rickford, Minister of Indigenous Affairs and First Nations Economic Reconciliation. Minister Rickford.
Appreciate it. Well, good morning, everybody, and I'm certainly one of the more exciting days here. I first just want to thank the Chief, Council, the Knowledge Keeper, and some negotiators. They're all here with us, and they'll join us soon to celebrate. But last week was one of the more memorable weeks in my political careers, plural, as we sat down in good faith and put together a landmark and historic community partnership agreement with Webequie First Nation. It is in keeping with our mantra that the next chapter, as so many First Nations, political and business leaders have said, of reconciliation is economic reconciliation. The Premier had recognized that a couple of years ago and had added it to my title. And for better context, in the wake of the last election, when we sat down, it was his vision and his understanding of what we were putting together, the body of work with partner communities like Webequie First Nations, that it was actually going to be community partnership agreements and economic partnership agreements that would make the difference in moving forward in the Ring of Fire. And boy, has it ever. And I appreciate the Premier stylizing our ministry, Will, to add the Ring of Fire with a particular emphasis on these important parts. Before I announce the details of the community partnership agreement that we have reached, I want to give a little bit of context here. We have always sought, particularly in the region of the Ring of Fire, to gather consensus between the communities, and particularly for the purposes of today for Webequie First Nation, on things like legacy infrastructure that would be required and in the best interests of policy options for the provincial government, we hope the federal government in time, and the First Nations most proximal and leading to the Ring of Fire. And so we mobilized to build relationships with those communities, and last June we were able to sign letters of confirmation with companies like Canada Investment Corporation and Menodaman Development. These are First Nations owned and operated businesses that would build the Magese Plaza rest stop right there off the Trans-Canada, an area for industry and commerce to gather as we would collectively build farther north. Skills training and job preparedness resources, and fortification of not just Highway 11 at that junction, but Highway 584 going north to Arrowland First Nation. More recently, we entered into a community partnership agreement with Greenstone. The Geraldton Road Rehabilitation Project is the first place you turn on to from the Trans-Canada Highway, where the Premier and I have stood now a couple of times, to look north and to go north. These were important precursors that would set the stage for where we are today. Today's announcement, we're heading due north. And the significance of Webequie First Nation not only is the most proximal community to the Ring of Fire, but whose intentions always were to lead. That's why they led the environmental assessment and had every intention of building access, a road into the Ring of Fire that would create opportunities for a transportation corridor, the corridor to prosperity coming from the north, and any other route potentially from that road. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I can say that I appreciate the Premier's leadership so much. It's only been matched by Chief Wabasse, a dear friend, long-standing of mine for a number of decades, and to be here today to get real activity started is exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to announce a community partnership agreement with the Premier and with the Chief to the tune of $39.5 million in initial resources, as is set out in this agreement. It is focused in real terms to pre-position the community to build the Webequie Supply Road, a road or corridor access for the community to the Ring of Fire and points beyond, directly and including the Northern Link road we've spoke of in the past. A portion of this funding is immediate. We want to make sure that the community well-being is in a good place and prepared for the kind of capacity and work required. $1.5 million of this, thanks to Roy, one of the negotiators, will ensure mental health supports for community members and community well-being activities as they rally their community members for probably one of the biggest economic surges, Cornelius, I would think, in their history. And we wanted to support them in that. Another portion, $10.5 million, will be for the immediate procurement of supplies and materials needed to get on the winter road for early work around the Webequie Supply Road and supplies for a couple of other shovel-ready projects I'll mention shortly. It's worth noting that this community has led the environmental assessment to be submitted to the Government of Ontario in early January, set for approval by spring, and then right into construction. And so when you're taking on projects of this scope and size, your community's got to be ready. As somebody who has lived in these communities, including Webequie briefly in another career, things like airports are really important in communities that have no road access. Some time ago, the terminal was lost to fire, so part of this funding includes, and some of us have experienced that firsthand, the need for a new terminal, upgrades to the runway, including a helicopter pad and electricity capacity as they build up business capacity and industry capacity. Another important part of the funding is focused on a community multi-purpose facility. It includes an arena space, but other rooms for community gathering, community training, and readiness. And finally, as a portion of this announcement today, $3 million for Webequie to lead a process to technically study the potential for an east-west road corridor, a secondary road access or trunk line, as it would be called. It implicates a number of other First Nations, some of whom have already signaled a willingness to join Webequie First Nations in understanding how that might work. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Premier, thank Chief Wabasse, his council, and his hard-working negotiations for taking us to the next level. and to the next place in economic reconciliation where real work is going to be done. And I'm just happy to be here today to celebrate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, next up we have the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and I'm going to start off with a little baseball. Go Jays, that was fabulous. We didn't have to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and everyone got a half-decent sleep. I'm real honored to be joined by Chief Wabasse and the Knowledge Keeper Wabasse, Deputy Chief Wabasse. We got the whole Wabasse group here, the whole family, and Council. And everyone here from Webequie First Nation. I got to give my pal a shout out. I usually don't do that, but I have a friend, Mike Fox. You're an absolute champion and just a good guy, so I had to give him a shout out as well. I'm pleased to welcome you all to Queen's Park alongside Minister Rickford and PA Bouma. We're here today to talk about the next step in our plan to protect Ontario by unlocking the enormous economic potential of the Ring of Fire, and to do so in true partnership with First Nations. Today's incredible milestone couldn't have come at a better time. President Trump is taking direct aim at Ontario and Canada. Trump's tariffs, they're hurting American workers, businesses, and families. But it's not just hurting Americans that are bearing the brunt. Ontario families and workers are feeling the pain. They're counting on us to protect their jobs, their livelihoods, and their communities. Ontario families and workers are counting on us to implement our plan to protect Ontario. Our plan to protect Ontario is cutting red tape and regulations to streamline approvals. It's building pipelines, rail lines, ports, roads, highways, and transmission lines to diversify our trading partners and find new customers in new markets. Our plan to protect Ontario is tearing down internal trade barriers. It's creating new jobs and opportunities for Ontario workers by unleashing the enormous economic potential of the Ring of Fire and building the future of nuclear power, including the first small modular reactors in the G7 and new large-scale nuclear facilities. Our plan to protect Ontario is transforming our economy to make it more competitive, resilient, and self-reliant, so we can attract new investment and create more jobs. That's exactly what today's announcement is all about. Ontario has all the critical minerals the world needs, including the Ring of Fire, the largest deposit of critical minerals in the entire world. These critical minerals, they're needed for advanced manufacturing, medical technologies, defense systems and equipment, and everyday essentials like the mobile phone that's in your hand right now. Unlocking the critical minerals in the Ring of Fire, mining and refining them here in Ontario, it will add $22 billion to Canada's economy and create 70,000 new jobs. An opportunity this size, it requires partnerships. It requires that we work hand in hand with forward-thinking, visionary First Nation leaders, just like leaders right here in this room and behind me. Leaders like Chief Sonny from Arrowland First Nation, where shovels are already in the ground upgrading and building roads at the gateway to the Ring of Fire. And leaders like my friend, Chief Wabasse, just an absolute champion, by the way, and our partners here today from Webequie First Nation, who have been leading the environmental assessment for the all-season Webequie Supply Road. This road will be a key link in the road network that will connect the Ring of Fire region with Ontario's provincial highways to unlock economic development, to support sustainable mining projects, and bring everyday essentials to Northern and First Nations communities. The Webequie Supply Road will be nothing short of a game changer. And with today's agreement, which includes investments in infrastructure and local priorities in Webequie community, we're ready to get shovels in the ground, building the road as soon as the ground thaws next spring. That's years faster than we had originally planned. We can no longer work at government speed. not when President Trump is taking direct aim at our workers and economy. With the mandate from the people of Ontario to build the most competitive economy in the G7, we got to work. We got to get it done. Today's agreement is proof of what we can accomplish when we work together. Now, there's one thing standing in our way: federal duplication. We need the federal government to end its impact assessment in the Ring of Fire, which are only duplicating the amazing work of our First Nations partners and slowing down getting shovels in the ground, building the roads to the Ring of Fire. The good news is we're making tremendous progress with the federal government toward an agreement that achieves one project, one review, one decision. Prime Minister Carney made a commitment to us to get out of the way of nation-building projects. To his credit, he's putting action behind his words. I look forward to getting our agreement across the finish line so we can move faster, be bolder, go further, and build the future of our economy starting in the Ring of Fire. Today's agreement is historic for the economic strength and resilience of our province and for the long-term prosperity of Webequie First Nation. This is an incredible success story that shows what's possible when we work together, shoulder to shoulder. So thank you again, Chief Wabasse and the Council and everyone involved here for your leadership in making today possible. I got to emphasize, this would not be possible if it wasn't for the leader of the Chief, Deputy Chief, Knowledge Keeper, Council. This just would not happen. I thank them, I thank them, I thank them. And just great, great folks here. And thank you to Minister Rickford and PA Bouma for all your work, for your leadership and hard work as well. Friends, we're in a battle for the future of our province, for the future of our country. The world around us is changing. Together, alongside First Nations, workers, unions, and businesses, we're going to emerge stronger and more united than ever before. Together, we're going to unleash enormous economic potential of the Ring of Fire. Together, we're going to protect Ontario. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Premier. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Chief, Council, and the Knowledge Keeper. That concludes the remarks for this morning. I think we'll now go to questions. Signing. Sorry, I apologize. We're doing the signing first. I'm rushing everyone out of here. Please.
This is a historic sign. Thank you again, Chief. Very, very grateful for our friendship and our partnership. Thank you.
We will now begin to take questions from the media. Media present can line up behind me and ask their questions through the microphone. As a friendly reminder, the format is one question and one follow-up. Please state your name and your outlet before your question.
And while we're waiting for that, if we could ask the rest of the council community members from Webequie to come up here to the podium, please.
Sorry.
Hi, Premier. Liam Casey with the Canadian Press. I'm
Hi,
hoping
Liam.
I can ask the Chief a couple questions
Sure,
before I ask you a
absolutely.
question.
Yep.
Morning, Chief.
Morning.
Nice to see you again. What's this community partnership agreement mean for Webequie?
I mean, it means a lot to our community. It means, working with government, moving forward on our aspirations, from the community. So it means a lot, and we look forward to working with the government in that agreement.
And how does this secondary road that you're going to explore, how will that help Webequie and nearby First Nations?
The secondary road is our winter road, and it'll be developed in a way that will be more usable into what it is now, and it'll bring it'll be able to bring more equipment to our community, and also bring new things to our community, so it'll be more secure and have a good solid foundation.
Thank you. And Premier, when you look into the future, when you're far into the future, when you're pushing up tulips, what's your vision for the Ring of Fire?
Well, my vision is prosperity for Webequie First Nations and communities right around there. An opportunity, and I was mentioning to the council and the chief that their children and their grandchildren are going to grow up differently than what they did. They're going to have opportunities available to them that they didn't have, and we're changing lives up there and creating more opportunities for jobs and community centers and hockey arenas and access to medical and food and equipment that can go up through, I like calling it the road of prosperity too, because that's what it brings to the communities. It's absolutely so important. It brings opportunities for mental health and addiction and everything else that anyone needs within a community. And I keep hearing about Roy. I can't wait to meet him because he was big on mental health, and so are we, so we're going to support him that way. But even as simple as making sure we have a transmission line going up there, reliable energy, high-speed internet, broadband, everything. So it's literally going to change your lives.
I have two questions for the Premier. Moira Welsh, Toronto Star.
Yes.
My first question is, you've spoken about the benefits to the communities,
Yes.
but you've also talked about the battle and the tariffs. A lot of people have said that by the time that mining can actually occur in the Ring of Fire, President Donald Trump will be long gone from office. And so what's your timeline around this? You've spoken about the battle, the need to act urgently. What's the timeline to get this moving forward?
Well, before I pass it over to Minister Rickford, we have to start. And this is a starting line right now, and this is going to bring opportunities in the future. And we're going to go as quickly as possible with our partners at Webequie First Nations, which I absolutely love, think the world of. And we're going to change their children's lives, as I said, and grandchildren's. But we have to start somewhere, and we have to move as quickly as possible. We need to create opportunities and jobs there as well. It's going to, again, change your lives, but we have to move and move quick. Let's get federal government out of the way. The Prime Minister assured me that it's going to be one project, one process, and we can move forward on that. So I'm telling you, this is the most historic day, the beginning of an incredible future for everyone. You know, the foundation of everything, supporting our First Nation communities, supporting healthcare and supporting education and infrastructure is one thing. And the Chief knows it's our economy. Our economy pays for everything. And this is pivotal to our economy. And we don't have to worry about Donald Trump years down the road, because he's not going to be there in 3 years. And, you know, as your last reporter up, years down the road, I'll be pushing up tulips. But it's for the future of our children in First Nations and the future of our province and our country.
My second question is the Globe and Mail has a piece that speaks about Ambassador Hoekstra, to use a blunt phrase, cursing out your Ontario representative in the United States at a meeting. What do you say to that? This was related to your advertisement related to Donald Reagan. What's your response to Ambassador Hoekstra's words?
Come on, Ambassador. He's a guy, you know something? I like him. Pete, you got to call Dave up and apologize. It's simple. You know, the cheese slipped off the cracker. I get it. You're ticked off. But call the guy up because you're a good guy, and Dave's my champion. The guy is just instrumental in these trade deals down in Washington. And, you know, something people get hot. They get heated. I get heated sometimes. But just call the guy up and bury the hatchet because the ambassador's a good guy, actually. I love Dave. I like the ambassador, so he knows what to do. Come on, Pete, you've been around for before Moses. Call the guy up and apologize. Let's start getting back on track. Simple as that.
Jean-Loup Doudard with Radio-Canada. The other day at Darlington, we asked the Prime Minister if he would consider putting the 401 tunnel under the big national project. He didn't seem too enthused about that. Do you think he would go for this one for the second round, the Ring of Fire road projects?
Well, I hope so. If he wants to work and it's costing us $56 billion a year, the congestion in Toronto and the GTA, $56 billion a year. You know, our building's been off the 401 for, I don't know, 50 years, and it's packed. You drive by the 401 at 11 o'clock, it's packed. Like, where is everyone going? So, it's the busiest highway in North America. What do? You build an extension, and our extension is underground. And we're going to do something that no one in the world has ever done. Just because it hasn't been done, it doesn't mean we can't do it. And we're going to get it done, and I'm encouraging the federal government to be part of that, because it's going to be incredible what we're building. 3-level tunnel, you know, transit, going east, going west. It's going to be pretty spectacular. So I strongly suggest and hope the federal government will be on board, but we're doing it either way.
And for weeks, many people have been talking about the Skills Development Fund. Everybody agrees that it's a good fund, but not everybody agrees that David Piccini is a good Minister of Labour. Does he still have your support, or are you going to ask for his resignation?
No, I got to support David. He's worked his back off on this, so created over 700,000 opportunities and 100,000 jobs for people that would never be able to have a job. Our target is to go up to 1 million. And it's ironic because it's all through all different political stripes when in their ridings, and so it's a great thing. We have to be ready for the jobs of the future, and we're training the population of Ontario to be ready for the next generation. No matter if it's large-scale nuclear that will create 60,000, 70,000 new construction jobs, or the SMRs and even jobs in the First Nation communities. You know, let's do a training program within the communities, which I think we are, Greg, right across all communities. And some of that skills development went to First Nations. Am I correct? I thought so.
Hi, Émilie Pelletier with Le Droit. My question is for you, Premier. I want to ask about doctors. There's a lot of turmoil in Quebec right now. The Legault government wants to impose a new compensation system. And so a lot of doctors in Quebec are looking to move their practice outside of Quebec and are looking for neighboring provinces. I was wondering if you intend to take advantage of that and, increase the recruitment efforts for Ontario.
I'd love to. Call 1-800-DOUG-FORD, all the docs, and come by, call me on my cell phone. It's on the internet. People are taking advantage of it now. But come by, and we'll have you working real quick. I'd love to see the doctors, nurses. We'd like to see anyone in healthcare come to Ontario because we're a growing community.
What would be the selling points from Ontario to Quebec doctors? Do you have any ad campaign idea?
Well, first of all, we're rich in Francophone culture here, over 600,000 Francophones, and there's something about myself and Quebecers, we connect. They're passionate, they're fighters. I love Quebecers. And so come by and we'll get you connected somewhere within the healthcare system. We need docs. We've already hired over 16,000 doctors. We're paying for their education in medical school. We're adding more medical schools. But the seasoned veteran docs, best quality of life you've ever have. Come by, we'll roll out the red carpet for you. And I think we need a couple docs too up in the northern communities.
Hi, Mirna Djukic for Radio-Canada. For the Premier and Chief Wabasse, if I can get you as well on this, there's been a lot of criticism with Bill 5 about the lack of consultations or how the consultations happen. So here, in this instance, what sort of consultation was done and how was it different?
So let me pass it to Greg and then over to the Chief, if that's fair enough, because Greg's been part of the consultation.
Yeah, so after the legislation was tabled, of course, there was a robust political engagement. I think that's where most of the criticism may have been in the rollout of the legislation. But after that, the political engagement that I've had and that some of my ministerial colleagues, including the Premier, have had, and as Minister Fideli's ministry has engaged in the technical consultations, I would say it's been generally well received. Obviously, it's very difficult to get consensus around these things from 133 different First Nations communities, but I can say that the response has been at least curious, if not positive, about some of the key projects that communities want to have, where Bill 5 may be able to support that and facilitate those projects coming to fruition. As it stands right now in the Ring of Fire region, we don't have any aspect of Bill 5 operating, but we will take our cue from First Nations communities like Webequie as these projects start under construction, how they see part of it may benefit from it. I'll turn it over to Cornelius, Chief Wabasse.
Thank you. Not much comment on the Bill 5, but I think Bill 5 is something that we need to work with to work for the benefit of our First Nations as well too, and it's out there, and we need to better understand what Bill 5 is all about, and hopefully we can come up with a strategy that can work for us as well too. Thank you.
And a follow-up question for the Premier. Part of this community agreement does include mental health funding. A lot of First Nations in the North have been asking for more mental health support. Is your message here that if they want a way to get it is to agree to development in the Ring of Fire?
Yeah, no, we're doing it already, not just here, but it was Roy was focusing on mental health, and Minister Rickford was at the table. Again, sorry, I'm going to pass it over to Minister Rickford because he's been in depth in communicating this, not just in Webequie, but he's right across our province. Our province is massive. It's 1,070 square kilometers. It's massive, and I don't know how Greg does it. The guy's traveling all over the place. So, Greg, back to you, my friend.
Look, there's no question that there will be an ongoing need for mental health and addiction support for communities across Northern Ontario, particularly the several dozen that are isolated and remote. They provide certain challenges that communities connected to roads in other cities like Thunder Bay, Kenora, where I hail from, can support. But in fact, Minister Tobolo, the previous Minister of Mental Health and Addiction, myself through my ministry, the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund, and now the new minister responsible for mental health and addiction, have put significant resources in not just the communities, innovative technologies that use internet platforms to connect with real council support that then can turn into face-to-face meetings and face-to-face support, but also land-based healing. And there are a number of examples of where we have, from Timmins clear across to the Manitoba border, either supported existing ones or built new ones. So no question that there's more work to be done. But as Roy pointed out in our negotiations, this needed to be tailored to his community, to Webequie First Nations, with an eye towards a community well-being and job preparedness for the economic surge that Webequie First Nation is about to embark on. Thank you.
I'm not sure if this is a question best for Minister Rickford or for the Premier. It's Siobhan Moore, CTV News.
Hi, Siobhan.
What happens to the timeline for construction of that road, and what are the implications for Webequie and the greater access to the Ring of Fire if the federal government doesn't waive their approval?
Pass it back to Minister Rickford. I'll just answer the federal government. It wouldn't be a good day for him. Just let's cooperate and let's get things done. I trust the Prime Minister. When he gives me his word, he keeps his word. So I think that's taking care of that question. But LaBelle?
Yeah, I mean, it would otherwise be kind of a trick question, right? If we said we were going to build it anyways, they might say, well, if they're going to build it anyways, why contribute? This is a legacy project of national, I would say international significance in the context of the demand for the critical minerals that are in the Ring of Fire, of a quality and quantity not known the world over, and some of the best standards, obviously, in labor and environmental assessments led by the First Nations communities. I frankly can't understand why the only thing the federal government has done for a very long time has put a regulatory process on potential development there as opposed to real resources. I think if they don't get involved on the resource side, so financial support for the corridor themselves, they'll pay a price to the people of Canada because, especially in light, Chief Wabasse and I and the Premier and the community members were chatting, these commercials that have been on the Jays baseball games, people have taken notice. They know where the Ring of Fire is. They know what it can contribute to the wealth and prosperity of First Nations in Northern Ontario, and how that can benefit the province of Ontario and Canada. So, you know, I would suggest that this is a great opportunity for them to be involved.
And this one is for the Premier. Back to that, I don't know, dressing down that Pete Hoekstra gave David Paterson.
Yeah.
What does it say to you that the person who is ostensibly, you know, baking in Canadian culture does not understand at this moment why you ran that Reagan ad and what it is that Ontarians are trying to achieve in our negotiations with the U.S.?
I guess the ambassador, he must understand it. He's been around for forever. When you have someone attacking your province, attacking your country, constantly saying it's a 51st state, trying to take our auto jobs down to the U.S., taking our manufacturing, life science jobs, trying to take our steel jobs, what do they expect me to do? Sit back and roll over like every other person in the world? I'm going to fight like I've never fought before. I said during the election I'm going to protect people, and I will use every tool in my toolbox to protect the people of Ontario and protect the people of Canada. Like, what does he expect? And it wasn't, the intention wasn't to go poke the president in the eye. My intention was to get a conversation going, wake up the Democrats a little bit down there. And my goodness, it woke them up all right, and they're still talking about it on CNN. But I saw a poll on CNN that Canada is way more popular than the president with the American people. We love Americans. I'll tell you, we don't love President Trump. I'll tell you that. And I think he was in the poll I saw on CNN is minus 60. I don't know, minus 60. I don't know how much lower you can get than minus 60. So why doesn't the president start being nice, play nice in the sandbox to his biggest customer in the entire world, and everything's hunky-dory. So let's get on with it.
Premier Jeffrey Globno, just backing up on that point in this confrontation, you made it sound like it's something that the ambassador has to apologize to your representative in Washington about, but really this was a dressing down. This was screaming, yelling, whatever it is. The reports are in front of a large audience about an ad, an innocuous ad that points out that Ronald Reagan supported free trade that you chose to run. Is this acceptable behavior for a diplomat?
Absolutely unacceptable. I've never heard anything about it. All I'm getting at is I'm not telling him. I'm suggesting that, you know, if you get hot-headed one day, call Dave up and say, I apologize, sorry, got a little heated. So, you know, that, as simple as that. People get in disagreements. It's unbecoming of an ambassador. I've never heard of this in my entire life. But the ambassador is a different type of cat. He thinks I'm a different type of cat, but he's a different type of cat as well. So, Pete, do the right thing. Give the guy a call. Let's move on. Enough's enough.
Are you going to be contacting the ambassador?
No, I got a bet on with him that if the Jays win, he has to wear a Jays jersey in Ottawa, the most popular thing. Matter of fact, he'd be more popular if he wore a Jays jersey. And if the Jays lose, which they aren't going to lose, I got to wear an LA Dodgers jersey. So this is what I mean. Like, you want to call Dave Paterson up, which is an absolute champion for Ontario, and I back the guy with 1,000%. You want to shout and scream at him, go ahead. Call me up, shout and scream at me. I can go with the best of them, right? Bring it on. But I'm not into that. Just let's move on.
Hi, Tina with City News. Just back to this announcement. Premiers have been talking about the Ring of Fire for decades. Yeah. Nothing has happened. I think there's a lot of skepticism that anything is actually going to get built here. And I just want to know, like, you can't even provide a timeline. So how is this announcement any different?
Oh, no, we have a timeline. I'll pass it over to Greg. I'm sorry, I got on a rant there myself. I felt like the ambassador there for a second. But no, this is going to be great. I want to emphasize to everyone listening out there, this would not have happened without the Webequie First Nations and the chief, Wabasse, and his council. It wouldn't have happened, simple as that. So maybe we should tweak that commercial and give a little more kudos to Webequie and the First Nation and the chief, because they're the ones who made it happen with the great leadership of Greg Rickford and P.A. Bouma. That's how it works. You all work together. But I'm going to pass it over to the minister on the time frame.
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect, there has been a lot of activity in the region. Anybody who's actually been there can see that, and I would invite you to come to Shovels in the Grounds in Webequie First Nation, down in Greenstone, to see the McGeezy Plaza as it stages as an economic center into the north. Upgrades to the highways there, 584 and up through to Arrowland. These are roads that currently needed upgrading so that we could build the official corridor to prosperity that's under environmental assessments for the past couple of years, which these communities have led. Those are real activities. Maybe your reference is to specific sort of physical activities around construction. Later today, I'm meeting with Wailu, and the question to them is going to be, how ready are you now to proceed with at least the preliminary activities associated with mine construction? We have a community here, most proximal to it, that will be beginning road construction into the Ring of Fire, the epicenter at the Esker site this spring, and in the meantime, building community infrastructure to support those kinds of activities. That's work to me. That's a lot of work going on there. And I'm hopeful that with additional resources from the federal government, we would be in a position to encourage and support the activities that are going on now and the ones that involve the corridor to prosperity construction to begin sooner than anyone ever expected, as the Premier said today. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you know what the feds could do? They could start off building a nice airport there, a longer runway, and until we can get some larger jets in to bring people back and forth from the community. That's what they could start. That's a no-brainer. Build a nice little airport, long runway, get jets in there, until when I go up there, I'm not terrified on those single prop planes. Like I sit in these single prop planes and I can literally go sit in the chair and go like that. And all I do is watch that little propeller go around and around and around and just praying. I look down, it's like you go down, you're toast. So I'm terrified when I go on those things. So I know Rickford's been trying to get me up there, but let's get this airport going and I'll figure a way to get up there one way or another. You guys, so Jamie's laughing, but you go on this plane, buddy, you'd be wetting your pants, I'm telling you. It's terrifying. That's all I can tell you. Okay, next question.
On another topic, your government is fast-tracking bills once again. Don't Ontarians deserve public hearings and debate on issues like speed cameras?
We had public debate, and it was called the election 6 months ago, and we had a clear mandate. I wasn't hiding what we were doing. We put our mandate out there. The people elected us, and we're moving forward. As for the speed cameras, isn't it ironic? There's 444 municipalities, only 37, less than 10%, what is it, 8% or something, want speed cameras. They want to gouge the public. We have a solution, and the solution is you want to calm traffic, you put calming infrastructure in. You put either speed bumps, you put turnabouts, raised pedestrian walkways. That slows it down. Speed cameras don't slow anyone down unless you're in the community and you get dinged a few times, but it doesn't make the place safer. Our solution makes communities safer. Theirs doesn't. It's a cash grab. And then there's a cash grab with the data centers and everyone else is getting a cut of the pie. It's deep. I encourage the media, start digging deep into all the other stuff that, everyone's getting a little kickback from. So that's it. We're getting rid of the speed cameras.
This will be the last reporter.
Hi there, Premier. Lisa Shing from CBC News. You have this agreement signed with Webequie First Nation, but there's still a few lawsuits going forward against Bill 5. So how can you feasibly develop a region like the Ring of Fire when not all First Nations are on board?
I'll pass that over to Minister Rickford.
Well, first of all, let's be perfectly clear that there isn't any part of Bill 5 that's currently being applied to the Ring of Fire, and we're actually working very effectively with these community partnership agreements, Arrowland First Nation, Greenstone, Webequie First Nations. There's more to come. There's a couple in the works. And we have engaged in the past several months with a thorough technical invitation for consultation with First Nations across the province. That's kind of a separate tract, but any intention or motivation for Bill 5 in whole or its parts have to be consulted again with the First Nations that are implicated in it. And so far, as I said to a reporter previously, the response has been anywhere from curious to generally positive. I've attended a number of First Nations events here in Ontario and outside of Ontario in Canada where the federal Bill C5 has been implicated. And I've heard First Nations business leaders and political leaders talk about how elements of these bills can actually speed up legacy projects that they're interested. So we'll see how this goes, but we're making great progress in the Ring of Fire here. Today's historic agreement, I think, charts a path forward that will open up those communities to greater economic prosperity, better access to health and social services, cheaper goods and services, and obviously align with the province's goal to bring industry and commerce to the region like they've not seen before.
Thanks very much. Next question is for the Premier. Back to the Reagan ad. How do you know the Prime Minister and his Chief of Staff saw this particular ad before you moved ahead with airing it?
I was with them. Anyways, everyone's obsessed. Just think of that, 11.4 billion impressions or views. Like, that means every leader in the world saw it, and it's just real. It's a real ad. It worked. It was the most successful ad ever. I don't know any ad that's ever hit 11.4 billion in every single country in the world. Their leadership and population was watching it because it's real. Ronald Reagan is telling the truth. A tariff on Canada is a tax on American people. And I could run 10 more different ads, which I'm not going to, with Ronald Reagan saying different speeches about how tariffs are terrible. Well, you see it down in the U.S. now. They're losing manufacturing jobs for 5 months in a row, down 78,000. Inflation's hitting. It doesn't work. So let's sign a deal, and a fair deal, and we'll move forward, and everyone's going to be happy.
Did they express concern when you were with them?
I'm not going to talk about our private conversation at all. I told them that we're running it. I'm going to cut it off on Monday, and that's it. I think it was it was the right thing to do. It stirred a conversation like I've never seen before.
That concludes our media questions.
Well, thank you, everyone. Yes, Jamie? God bless the Bank of Canada. Oh, my goodness, just keep cutting those rates. People can afford homes. You heard the great news about us cutting the HST. I want to thank the federal government partnering with us on that. And just that's amazing. We're going in the right direction. So I go after the Bank of Canada hard. Thank you, the Bank of Canada. You're all champions. Come over for a slice of pizza. Thank you. God bless. Thank you, everyone.
We're just going to have the community members and council, the
Yes.
rest of council
Yes.
that were here from Webequie First Nation for a photo opportunity. Come on in, folks.